Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 127. Tesla's growth in the US is ridiculous, and Tesla's lead in Europe with its two models might be bigger than we thought. And global BEV sales should hit a major milestone here in 2022. And Bloomberg has some new research that says once 5% of new car sales go fully electric, everything changes. And NASA's James Webb Space Telescope has just taken the first picture, and we now can see deeper into space than ever before. And SpaceX had an explosion, but we will very soon have internet for every corner of the planet. And a once proclaimed Tesla killer is being killed. All this and much more on today's episode. Start right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
Let's start with some numbers from the US, because Tesla's growth in the US is just ridiculous. Here is a chart of percent change in brand registrations year-to-date 2022 through March of the top 30 selling brands in California. But Lars, that is just one state. Yes, but it is important to point out that California is not only the most important passenger car market in the United States, but one of the largest in the world. With new registrations of 1.89 million light vehicles in 2019, California ranked 10th compared to all countries in the world, level with Italy or a little behind key European markets such as France and the UK. So even though this is just one state, it is an important one. And as we can see, almost every other legacy automaker is down, and some by quite a lot. And then we have Tesla sitting on the top with a 83.7% increase from 2021 numbers. That is pretty impressive. And not only that, take a look at Tesla's market share. This is not BEVs, this is just market share of the overall car market. Tesla in California is now the second biggest automaker, only beaten by Toyota. But with the rise Tesla sees right now with over 83% and the fall Toyota is seeing right now down more than 17%, we might even see Tesla as the biggest car brand in California by the end of this year. That would be quite an achievement. Tesla is already bigger than Ford in California as an automotive brand. Crazy. And even if we look at the overall car market in the US, we can see Tesla has 3.3% market share. That is actually not bad. That is bigger than both BMW and Mercedes in the US market. And we can see that the GM's brand down the list here is really struggling. Down 20%, down 40%, down 58%. Good thing they are racing toward EVs as fast as they can, making a lot of them to make up for the losing ICE sale vehicles. Oh, wait. What did GM sell again in Q2 in the US? Oh yeah, 1,831 BEVs. But GM sales were down by more than 100,000 vehicles in just Q2. So their ICE sales are dropping out of the sky much faster than their ramp, or hardly any ramp, of BEVs. So GM so far in the first half of 2022 has lost about 233,000 units sold just in the US compared to last year. So if GM is not able to turn this around, they will no doubt end below 6 million vehicles sold in 2022 globally. And the trend we have been seeing for the last 6 years will just continue, where GM has been down an average of 8.6% through the last 6 years. So no, it is not just to blame on chip shortage. If GM's falls another 8.6%, they will end up with about 5.75 million vehicles sold in 2022. Let's see if they can beat that number. But if GM is not able to turn this trend around, the ICE sales will continue to drop even faster as EV take up more and more market share. So if we let GM fall with the average they have done for the last 6 years of 8.6%, they will in 2025 be down to about 4.4 million vehicles. So not only do I think they will never catch up with Tesla in selling BEVs, but if GM can't stop this trend they are on right now, Tesla could even be bigger than GM in 2025. Not just BEVs, but in general. If Tesla is able to keep up the 50% growth rate we have seen them do over the last 6 years, they could be close to 4.7 million units in 2025. Now that would be the ultimate test slap for GM if this should play out. That not only did they not overtake Tesla in 2025 as an EV maker as Mary Barry predicted, but they would be overtaken by Tesla in units sold in total by 2025. I actually think that scenario is more likely than GM overtaking Tesla in the EV race by 2025, but a fun little race to keep an eye on. And let's take a quick look at the European EV sales. And if you haven't seen my video about Volkswagen that is collapsing in the US right now and are by no means keeping up with Tesla's growth, you should definitely check that one out. But one thing that a member of mine pointed out is that the numbers I used from eu-evs.com didn't add up because Tesla hardly sells any S and X right now in Europe, but the sales numbers from the Model 3 and Y combined only added up to about 47,880 units, but the combined numbers for Tesla was over 70,000. So I asked Alex, who run the website, and he kindly replied that it is because some countries do not give up the models being sold, but only the total amount of cars being sold by each brand. So in countries like Austria, we can see there are no models displayed, only the total amount per brand. But Austria's numbers are so small it doesn't really matter, but the UK is the same thing, and that is the second biggest market in Europe. So that makes a big difference, because here we can see Tesla's numbers for the Model Y and 3 are missing almost 20,000 units. So this is of course for all brands, but we can see someone like Volkswagen should only add about 7,000 units to all their EVs like the ID3, the ID4, the ID5, the E-Up and so on and so on. So not going to raise the numbers that much, but Tesla pretty much only sell 2 models in Europe right now, so we should probably add something like 10,000 units to each model. Maybe a little more to the Model Y, but let's just add 10,000 to each. That means that Tesla's lead with its 2 models in Europe is even bigger than we thought. The Model Y probably has about 35,000 units sold and the Model 3 about 32,000 units. And the rest of the list, you could probably add a couple of thousands to each model. So Tesla's Model Y and 3's lead in Europe is even bigger than I thought. But Tesla's lead as a brand in Europe is as big as we thought and is about 55% ahead of the Volkswagen brand in Europe. And now the Berlin factory is ramping up, as Alex also tweeted. Tesla hired an incremental 1,000 employees for Giga Berlin, the Federal Agency of Work informed. And 650 people have been hired who have been registered as unemployed before. Those people usually have a hard time to find a job, so that's very nice. After the start of production in March, Tesla is now building up the staff of the second shift and the third shift, so there are many good hiring opportunities for the next few weeks. Tesla now has 5,000 employees, or 42% of the workforce for Giga Berlin on board. They plan to produce 500,000 vehicles per year in phase 1. Yes, remember, this is only phase 1, people. A lot more to come from Giga Berlin, and very good to see they are ramping up nicely. So this is going to be fun to see if Volkswagen can hold the lead as a group in Europe, or Tesla will be able to grab that one as well. Volkswagen's lead as a group is still over 40,000 units up from Tesla. So Tesla really has to do some magic here in the second half of this year to catch up. And let's take a look at the overall BEV market globally. Electric car sales are going to climb despite the fact supply chain shortages have been disrupting the industry. Nearly 3 million fully electric vehicles were sold worldwide from January to May in 2022 compared to 1.7 million in the same period of 2021, an increase of more than 80%. Knowing that the last months of the year are typically strong for sales, analyst estimates that the market should pass the milestone 7 million BEVs delivered this year. I know I'm not an analyst, but I actually think it will pass 8 million as well, because last year's total sales of BEVs was about 4.8 million, and the 1.7 million in the first 5 months stood for about 35% of the annual sale. So if we say that is going to be the case again this year, that the 3 million BEVs sold in the first 5 months is 35% of the whole sales of the year, we will end up with something like 8.5 million BEVs sold in 2022. And with the ramp we see in China, I would not be surprised if we surpass 9.5 million BEVs and double the numbers from last year. That would be a very impressive jump for BEVs, as last year's numbers, including hybrids, were 6.75 million sold. So BEVs on their own should easily surpass that here in 2022. So quite a nice ramp BEVs are on this year, even with all the challenges we have seen so far this year. And Bloomberg has some new research that says once 5% of new car sales go fully electric, everything changes. According to a Bloomberg analysis of 19 countries that have made the EV pivot. Yes, I know Bloomberg has not been very good at predicting the EV adoption, but here they are just looking at 19 countries and what has happened when they crossed the 5% tipping point. And remember, the world's BEV share last year did get over the 5%, so everything should change from now on according to Bloomberg. And that does seems about right. As we can see, China hit the first quarter above 5% in Q3 2018, and the whole year of 2020 was the first year with over 5% plug-in shares as well. And in 2021 they did hit 15%, a very big jump in plug-in, but these numbers are including hybrids, which Bloomberg's are not. They are only talking about BEVs, just to make that clear. And Europe has pretty much doubled their plug-in market share for the past 2 years, and last year were almost at 20% plug-ins. So I think we will probably also see the US doubling their plug-in market share for the next couple of years as well. Bloomberg says if the US EV adoption happen as fast as the average of these 19 countries, the US new car sales should hit 25% EVs by 2025. But this is not including hybrid, as I just said, this is only BEVs. I actually think this will happen a bit faster in the US. As I said, I think the next 2 years they will double, as I think they will also be close on doing this year, so close to 8% plug-ins. But even if it will only be like 7% this year, and if we then say EV market share will double just for the next 2 years in 2023 and 2024, then we will already be above 25% market share in 2024 and above 50% by 2025. But that is including hybrids. And if we then say about 70% of those are BEVs, as we can see it is globally, we end up with about 40% being BEVs in 2025. And that would be about 6 million BEVs depending on the total car sales, of course, but thereabout. And I think it will happen faster than the average of these 19 countries in the US from here on out, because the competition is heating up with both GM and Ford wanting to show off that they can ramp up to 1 million EV sales in the US alone by 2025, and many others will of course come as well. And Tesla should have the Texas factory up and running very fast at that point, maybe hitting the 1 million at that point, and the Fremont factory should be close to getting to the ramp of 1 million units. As Elon has said, they think the Fremont factory can be ramped up too. But even if Fremont is only at 800,000, it will still be 1.8 million BEVs from Tesla alone. And 25% of the US market would be something like 3.75 million EVs. So if that is the case, Tesla should still be close to having 50% EV market share at that point. But I don't think that is the case. I think the EV adoption will just go faster and faster for every new country that catches on. As we have seen, Norway was not very fast compared to what is going on in many European countries right now. So the US might be a little late to the party, but I think we will quickly get to 50% EV market share in the US as well. I would bet that the US will probably be closer to 50% BEV market share in 2025 than 25%, as Bloomberg suggests. But what is your guess? Let me know in the comments down below what the BEV market share will be in the US in 2025. Then we can come back in 2025 and see how close we got. And let's get our weekly updates about Tesla's Giga factories. That means handing it over to Brian from My Tesla Weekend. Take it away, Brian.
Hey Lars. Well, in Fremont, there's been a new stockpile of S and X's around the test track. A bunch of mega castings are now piling up as well, and still, no one's playing on the tennis court. In Shanghai, same story as it was. On the west side, where the buildings were being expanded onto, they're still getting closed off, and interior work is underway. The little building in the north central, closed off, interior work underway, and the Sky Bridge in the central corridor, it is also getting its walls. This is probably going to become operational in about 2 weeks, I would think. In Berlin, the stamping extension at the north end of the factory has been sitting idle for so long that grass is now growing. At the south end of the building, the parking is still moving forward, and the 4680 building is getting sealed off. Interior work began here months ago, and I remain confident that production should begin by the end of the year. In Texas, we're still looking at a lot of parking rework around the main building, some more parking rework in the main parking area with trenching for utilities and light poles, and that hill at the south of the site, well, it's just getting bigger. But the big news is the cathode building, which, in addition to now having most of its steelwork up, is getting roof and floor decking. This building is moving very fast. And on the roof of the main structure, the solar panels are continuing. And it may look like they're moving slow, but they're not. Outlining the logo is a lot easier than filling in all the gaps around it. Back to you, Lars.
Thank you so much for that update, Brian. See you next week. Let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. Alex wrote on Twitter, Volkswagen software subsidiary Carrot announced plans to integrate BlackBerry QNX into the automated drive system solution. And was asked, wait, they already used Nvidia, Qualcomm and Bosch, and now this? And Alex replied, in fact, it is quite a mix of all systems you can buy from suppliers, including everything they want to code themselves. A recipe for future problems. Yeah, the software disaster continues at Volkswagen. And Redwood could add another big player to the list of customers. As they wrote on Twitter, we partnered with Volkswagen Group of America, who shares our mission of making EVs sustainable and affordable to recycle all batteries from Volkswagen and Audi electric vehicles. Very nice. And don't forget, if you want to protect your new Tesla, I can get you 20% discount of drive protected grade PPF wraps. And you don't have to live near their workshop to get it done. You can do it yourself. So no matter where you live on the planet, you can get some of drive protected PPF wraps. They have a whole YouTube channel that shows you exactly how to do it. But if you do live in the US, you now also have a chance to learn it from the guys from Drive Protected face to face, because they will be at the Tesla Owners California takeover on the 6th of August. So if you are heading over there, don't forget to drop by the guys from Drive Protected stand and say hello and learn how to wrap your precious Tesla, so you don't have to pay the guys like them to wrap it for you. Just like Eric from Drive Protected is saying here.
Hey Eric, what are you up to?
Oh, hey Curtis. Just installing some matte PPF on this 2022 Tesla Model Y Performance. Come check us out at the Tesla Owners California Takeover event on August 6th. So you can learn how to do this yourself. You don't have to pay guys like me to do it.
Yep, go say hi to Eric and all the other guys and learn how to wrap your Tesla. And if you don't live in the US or not going to the takeover event, well, just use my code BIT20 to get 20% off any order over $300 of drive protected grade PPF wrap. And just use their YouTube videos to learn how to do it yourself. And that discount code is good for worldwide orders. So go nuts, my friends. And just wanted to share this image because this is history. NASA's James Webb Space Telescope has produced the deepest and sharpest infrared image of the distant universe to date. Known as Webb's first deep field, this image of galaxy clusters SMACS 0723 is overflowing with details. Just look at this image with a bunch of galaxies in a very sharp picture. I mean, just look how clear it is. And here's a little comparison between the old Hubble telescope against James Webb. And they even have a website where you can zoom in and out and just check out what a little tiny square of the sky that is filled with galaxies. And just check out this galaxy right here. Very clear. This is just amazing. I will leave a link to the website if you like to check it out yourself. But oh boy, it will be so interesting to see what new things NASA will be able to discover with this great new telescope. Even Elon tuned in and said now the simulators will have to speed up more memory on rendering. And SpaceX has begun launching a new group of Starlink satellites that will eventually create a shield of the near-polar communication satellites capable of serving some of the most remote customers on Earth. And Elon also wrote on Twitter, these polar launches will enable complete coverage of the Earth. So very, very cool. I cannot believe just how fast this project has gone from first launch to worldwide coverage. Now we just need more satellites to get the speed up of the internet. This is literally going to change the world forever. But SpaceX might be cooking up some more history for us with some new filing to the FCC. In this new filing, it says the Super Heavy booster will separate, perform a partial return and land in the Gulf of Mexico, or return to Starbase and be caught by the launch tower. That would be sick. Super Heavy would likely need to be in excellent health and perform perfectly, doing the ascent and the boost back portion of its launch debut to be cleared for a catch attempt. But ultimately, Starship's first orbital launch could end up being even more spectacular than it already guaranteed to be. No matter when this will happen, it will be spectacular and a historical moment. Can't wait to see this in real life. And if you're getting tired of monthly subscription to everything, well, you're going to love what BMW is about to do, because BMW starts selling heated seat subscription for $18 a month. Okay. And Dr. Jack on Twitter tweeted, turn out the rumors about the temporary software lock of the true potential of the 4680 Model Ys may be true. A little birdie told me that there are 4680 cell Model Ys currently being driven by Tesla employees with 500 miles of range. But this is probably not the same car as it is being delivered to customers though. Tesla probably does a lot of testing and could easily be testing the maximum capacity of the Model Y with the 4680 cells and have over 500 miles of range. That should definitely be possible. But as Tesla Motors Reddit wrote, can confirm there are some folks in Nova Scotia, Dan's team, that has been driving Model 3 and X and other with over 1,000 kilometers of range with testing. But who knows what they're bringing to production. But very fun stuff though. I think this is exactly the case, that this is a test vehicle, so not what is shipped out to customers. As we also know, Tesla is battery constrained with the 4680 cells, so it would be kind of crazy to put batteries into the car with enough range of 500 miles and then software lock it to only 279 miles. That would be a very big waste of batteries. And people have been talking about how you can recycle the Tesla 4680 cell battery pack. As Monroe Live also said, it's not easy to take apart, but that does not make it hard to recycle, as we have seen with some of Volkswagen recycles as well. They grind the whole battery and then extract the materials. Just as when you dig a mine, you don't just pull out a lot of metals, you dig up a lot of dirt and then you have to extract the metals. As Elon also explained on Twitter, you just get a super high grade ore compared to the low grade ore of mining. And Monroe Live showed us the difference between Tesla's tight integration and BMW's messy design.
Sometimes we give Tesla a lot of credit for the level of integration, and this is a perfect example of a lack of integration. So BMW was dealt a really good hand with a ton of packaging space. Now, Sue, look in here and tell me what your first impression is of how they use this space.
It's very inefficient, right? But it reminds me of sort of the Mach-E too. Do you remember when the sort of this tangled web of hoses and wires? That's kind of what it looks like here. So, but there's ample space here. It's just that it's like the routing looks a little bit sloppy. Not sloppy. It's just there's a lot of extra room in here.
I know people are like, you guys, you got to lay off the Tesla narrative, but this is just what you get when you buy commercial off-the-shelf components, place them and mount them where it is best suited. Then you have to run a wild array of spaghetti lines from component to component, which drives inefficiency in not only their routing, but the fluid flow and whatnot. And the point of this episode is not to go into the thermal system of this, but it just shows you that hopefully BMW is working on a new platform that's highly integrated. Now, Sue, what else do you have to say about what you see here?
I think that if you look at the way some of these components are placed, I think if done more efficiently, as you said, they actually could have gotten a smaller, or they could have got some aspect of a frunk in here.
The effort to shrink and compact your thermal system actually saves money and then allows for a frunk. So the argument that, it might have been cheaper for BMW just to use all the existing space, I would beg to differ. If you put all these components from a cost perspective up against a more elegant thermal system, this might actually be more expensive. You have more length, more weight, more cost.
And we got a nice software update coming, as Elon tweeted. Tesla's automatic cabin overheat protect should make a real difference with record heat waves. Ability to adjust activation temperature coming with the next software release. Hope it is already here as this video airs, as me and my family are heading down south in Europe into the heat. And a giant is stopping at Tesla. Andrew Carpathy, the head of Tesla's AI team, has decided to stop at Tesla. He has no concrete plans for what next, but looks to spend more time revisiting his long-term passion around technical work in AI, open source and education. And Elon did reply to Andrew's tweet saying, "Thanks for everything you have done for Tesla. It has been an honor working with you." Yep. Thanks for everything so far, Andrew, and good luck in your future endeavors. And NIO is on track to deliver 18,000 units here in July. That is pretty impressive. The increase of production capacity at its plant by 50% puts the company on course to deliver around 18,000 vehicles, provided it does not suffer from components restriction or COVID restrictions in the coming weeks. But to put those numbers in perspective, Volkswagen sold a combined of all their IDs in China in June, 17,635 units. So NIO could become as big in China as the Volkswagen brand in July if Volkswagen does not grow too much. Very impressive for this little EV startup company to keep up with Volkswagen in China. Going to be interesting to see if Volkswagen will be able to pull away. And Donald Trump was attacking Elon this week and also said, "Elon Musk told me he voted for me, but now he's saying he didn't." And Elon replied, "Not true." Well, I will take Elon's word over Donald Trump any day. Tesla's new virtual power plant with PG&E in California invite 25,000 customers to participate in the program. Last week, the companies reported that the number of participants had already exceeded 1,500. So cool to see the future of the grid taking shape. And Elon, here is an edge case for your full self-driving neural network. A plane making an emergency landing on the highway. Jesus. And Glencore is one of the largest mining of raw material companies in the world. It has recently placed an order with Sweden's Epiroc for a full fleet of battery electric mining equipment to provide emission-free raw materials for electric cars. Glencore is also getting involved in the battery recycling through a partnership with Lee Cycle and is using blockchain technology to ensure the ethical sourcing of raw materials. Now that is cool. Electric mining machines are being used to extract raw materials for electric vehicles. Nice. And Mazda is really getting some momentum in the EV space. They sold 23,000 units in June. No, wait, what? It doesn't say it's 1,000. Oh, it's just 23. Wow, that is even worse than GM's Q4 of 26 EVs. Wow, Mazda, you really need to pick up the pace if you don't want to just disappear together with the ICE cars. And more good news for the adoption of EVs in the US that is lagging a bit behind. Consumer Report asked 8,700 Americans whether they would consider buying or leasing an electric car, and 36% said yes. That is the highest positive response rate to the Consumer Report electric car poll ever. And the EV market share is still only 5% in the US. So as we can see, the demand is so much higher than the supply, as we have talked about so many times before. And the proclaimed Tesla killer back in the days is now being, well, killed. According to internal documents from Mercedes-Benz, the company decided to stop the production and sales of the EQC in May 2023. As Alex writes, the EQC is not really what you would call a bestseller, as we find it here at the bottom of the list, with only like 1,500 units sold in the first half of 2022, only just beating the last one on the list, the EQE. Of those 27 EVs in Germany, yes, this is in Germany, but the Tesla killer never really got any momentum and is now being laid off, while Tesla's 2 model blossom in the German market. Maybe people are starting to realize the advantage of a Tesla, like this little story here. An EQC owner asked me how I could stand road trips with my Tesla given the lack of working chargers and slow charging speed. He was shocked when I told him that Tesla has their own charging network, which is pretty much flawless. Should have informed himself before buying. Maybe this is what most people are starting to do now, inform themselves, and that is why Tesla is pulling away even in Germany. And 2 Tesla semi-trucks were spotted in California heading west. Since the 2 trucks were following each other, there is a possibility that they are testing the convoy mode. Now that would be very cool if when Tesla releases the semi-truck, it would come with the convoy mode included. That would be such a killer feature and no one would expect it. And it finally happened here in Denmark. This is a sign of a Q8 gas station that is now also showing the price of a kilowatt hour, including the kilowatt charging speed. Yep, it has begun. Nice. And the Tesla Model 3 is built tough and safe. This guy was sideswiped by a ute, didn't move an inch. Ute slide off, out of control. Tesla cam for the win, straight to the cops for ID, filed for insurance. Yes, exactly. Get your family in a Tesla now. And I am doing just that. Actually, as you watch this, I am already on the road with my family in my Tesla Model 3, going for another 3-week road trip through Europe. So don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I will tweet a bit from the journey if I found something interesting. And don't worry, I will still be making the new show every Sunday, just a little bit different. But you will probably not get as many videos during the next couple of weeks before I'm back at my office. But before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest patrons and members of this YouTube channel: Joshua Mwangi, Danny Meeks, and Frank Lee. And I thank you for watching, members: Wally Kuntz, Martin SG, Andrew Arton, Oliver Brutus, Mark 1 Metro, and Jeff Songster. MRB Nice and You Are member Philip Constantino. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And a big and special thanks to Supporter of the Week. And this week's winner is Gertrudis Mauricio. or something like that. Sorry for butchering your names like that. But he has right now been the longest standing member I have of this YouTube channel. He has been a thank you for watching member for more than 22 months. Thank you. Please contact me on this email down below so I can get your address so I can send you your free t-shirt or mug of your choice. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. A little video that illustrates the progress of GM. That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. And if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to a donation options in the show notes. And also as simple as hitting the super like button. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.